Welcome to the Orana podcast, a show about what you will find, what you will not find in the Cook Islands. And now here's your host, Chantal Napa.
Kia Orana, kia toto ka toto nukoni I amato I tumu te warawaro ko te ko Chantal Napa. Welcome back to Kia Orana podcast. I'm your host, Chantal Napa. I'm recording today and I'm sitting here in my office, right? Everyone looking out the back. Sometimes I can look at the back at the beautiful mountains and sometimes I can look the other way at the beautiful lagoon, right? And before I introduce our guest for today, I'm so appreciative of where we've come with Kia Orana podcast. And I was just looking at some statistics today because I had to do an email up with statistics for Kia Orana podcast today and send that off to a local sponsor who sponsors my audio. And then, of course, I was like giving them stats for the year, right? So it was like, because every October that sponsorship comes around. So I have to say to them, this is who's listening now. So those stats, everyone, from the top of my head was we're now reaching 105 countries. We're now reaching 1,100 cities. One of the other stats was that Apple Podcast is our biggest app listener, and that it was mobile was the biggest, mobile users. That was like 73%, more than like people listening to the show from their computer or their laptop. And I was blown away. I'm blown away. And that the Cook Islands is still the number one listener. The number two listener is Kia Kotoma I Nutirene, Aotearoa. You're our second biggest listener. And third is the USA, the United States of America. They beat Australia. Like, come on, you Aussies. Oh my goodness, America's beating you. Americans like in the 15% of listening to us, and you Aussies are at 12%. So thank you very much. That's my update. That's my thank you. I'm going to introduce you now to our guest, Tairea. Tairea. So if you were to like Google Ian, which is what I did, right? 2022 was a big year for him. And he pretty much moved back to Moke with his father in the Cook Islands to start a new project. And I was sort of researching about him, and he started a new YouTube channel so that friends and family can join him on his journey and encourage him along the way. And the name of that YouTube channel is Project Sunrise. How cool, eh? Project Sunrise, right? So I go into Project Sunrise, have a look around, and there's some really beautiful like aerial footage of Moke and music and a collective of information ranging from the sea to the land to the churches to political to family to children to elderly. So I am going to find out with you what Ian is doing in Moke.
Yeah, Kia Orana, Chantal, thank you for having me on your show. It's
my pleasure.
I was quite surprised to be invited to be on the podcast. So,
the Chamber of Commerce thought it was a good idea.
Oh, yeah. So we were both
Start to the Chamber of Commerce, right?
Yeah. Shout out to Becca and Bex and the whole crew down
That's
there.
right. Shout out to them. They thought it would be a good idea for you to come on the show. So welcome, please.
Thank you.
Tell me something that the TV and the radio can't tell me.
I don't know what I can say really. Just that we're really privileged to be back in the Cook Islands. I feel like our people are really blessed to have the Cook Islands. We're really fortunate. I'm New Zealand born, but it's always been a dream of mine and my family's and my cousins that, hearing the stories of the Cook Islands and of Moke, it's always been a dream to come back. So it just feels really good to finally be at that stage in life where we were able to and sort of doing that and sort of bringing with us all our experience and things that we're passionate about and start sort of using that to give back to our community and to our people. So yeah, we're just doing what we were doing in New Zealand, but now we're doing it here in the Cook Islands, and it feels awesome. You know, I don't miss New Zealand at all. I just miss my family and friends and my students. But yeah, it feels right being here, and we're just loving every day of it. Yeah.
Okay, Ian. So you need to break that down for me and the listeners, please.
Okay.
Like, we're just doing what we were doing in New Zealand, and now we're doing it here. So please break down what that is.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So probably the thing that I'm most passionate about is using education to help our young people. And in New Zealand, it was working with mainly Māori students, working in a kura called Taiwan and Tutor. And my background's IT, and so computer stuff. So Dad brought home a computer when we were just young kids. You know, I was one of the first like Commodores, and we were just playing games. But ever since then, I've always been into IT, and now sort of growing up now and sort of been in the workforce and stuff, I sort of can see how those sorts of skill sets can really benefit our people. And so I'm just really passionate about sort of passing that information on. I think I sort of had the realization when I was doing these hackathon competitions in New Zealand. They're competitions where you're just using your IT skills to help solve problems, and it sort of made me realize, wow, like these skills are just more than something that I enjoy to do. They actually help people and benefit people. You know, people are willing to pay for these skills. You know, you can be a builder, a creator, a problem solver. And then it sort of just hit me that, you know, this is more than just a thing that I like to do. This is something that can help people, and, you know, you feel like you're actually contributing to something. And I want kids to feel that as well, you know, the ones. So my students in New Zealand, I've tried to sort of encourage them to go down this pathway. And now we're doing that in Moke, working over there with the Mapu over there. We're also working with the Mapu over here through partnerships with like Tairea, 6 studios and the Creative Academy. So we're really just trying to find people who are on a sort of similar mission to help our next generation. And I think, that's just what we're called to do, and what we're trying to, you know, we wake up every day excited to push that mission a little bit further. So it's cool. So I'm not too sure how that can interest your listeners, but I just think if everyone has young people, they have kids, and they have a future generation that they think about and sometimes worry about. But for me, I think the future is very bright. And, you know, I know there's a lot of people that sort of wake up every day and think about that and work on that. So we're just happy to be a part of that for the Cook Islands. And I'm pretty excited about how things are sort of unfolding.
Hey, Ian, while I'm listening to you, are you speaking about workshops? You're running workshops for the youth?
Yeah. So
please explain a little bit more.
Yeah, sure. So one of the ways in which we're doing that is through workshops. So when I mean IT skills, so my background sort of web development, app development, coding in HTML, CSS, JavaScript. So that's sort of the technical skill set that I'm sort of working in. So that's sort of my day job as well, building an e-learning platform, which sort of complements that work that we're doing. We ran a workshop recently called Digital Tour. We call it our version 1.0 because it's sort of a thing that we want to iterate on and constantly make it better and better. So myself are already planning version 1.1. That's just a workshop that we ran. It was Moke, Rarotonga, and Palmerston North in Aotearoa, all at the same time. All sites had about 20 kids each. We got them all into a Discord server so they can talk to each other, start doing these courses. We had 5 courses, one on web development, 3D modeling, beat making, vector design, and image manipulation. So these are just sort of different skills that you can do with a computer, that we feel like if you start to learn these skills, then you'll very quickly learn that you can apply that to practically to sort of business and creativity and innovation and things like that.
I'm smiling, Ian, because if I hadn't spent the last 3.5 years with my IT guy, Hayden, I would have no idea what you're saying.
Oh, yeah. But now you do.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm smiling because I actually understand
Yeah.
what you're saying.
Yeah, cool.
But I know that if I hadn't spent the last 3.5 years solving problems, building what Hayden and I have built to solve problems, I wouldn't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And so
I think you've sort of realized the power of digital technology and what it plays in business today.
And I found it interesting that you said, I realized when I was in that hacking competition that you can help.
Yeah.
And then you can solve problems. When you said solve problems, so for example, Hayden and I just released an episode yesterday, which we recorded earlier in the week, and it was about updates from Rarapass. And it was like Rarapass Scan and Pay, Rarapass Charity Donate, Rarapass Ticket Eventing.
Yeah, nice.
Online.
Yep.
And we just had a chat about it, and we were so excited, and those all came from solving a problem.
Yeah.
So, and Hayden was explaining to me, because I don't know. He goes, it's like Google, Chantel. They go Google iCloud, Google Pay, Google Drive, Google this. He goes, so Rarapass is the mother, and then it's Rarapass Scan and Pay, Rarapass Events and Ticketing, Rarapass Donate. And another thing that I learned from him too, Ian, right? Because there's not too many technical people I interviewed. The last person IT-wise that I interviewed was Aotearoa on my show.
He's the man. He's awesome.
The last digital person, IT person I interviewed was Aotearoa, and that was 2021, I think.
Yeah.
So I haven't spoken to another Cook Island digital person since then. And when I sat with Aotearoa 2 years ago on the show, Orana podcast, I had like a 30% idea of what he was talking about.
Yeah.
I'm laughing, everybody, because I'd only been doing that project with Hayden a year. And so then, okay, so we come back to Rarapass Scan and Pay, right? That came about from a problem. And then, so my daughter was here at the office. She comes on Thursdays and she cleans up and she hoses down the office. And then on the other side of the store is snorkeling gear that we leave out as an honesty box system. So they either pop the cash in through there or, no, there was no or, right, before. And then I used to get here and my daughter says, Mum, you know how you leave $70 in the safe as a float? I go, yeah. And she said, well, these people came and they had $100 note and they needed $82 change. And so I only had $70 in the float. And I was like, oh, well, I'll just leave $100 float in there. Sorry, baby. And I come another day, Mum, you know how people come? Well, they didn't have the right money. And then they were like trying to figure out how they could, like, you know, break the money down. And I'm like, Hayden, you know, with our existing infrastructure, can we like build Scan and Pay, a sticker on my door, like Google and Apple Pay? He goes, yeah. I go, yeah. He goes, yeah, you're already like 15 steps there. You only need one more step with your current infrastructure. So now there's a sticker at the front where they can scan and pay straight to their phone, straight.
Nice.
Apple Pay, Google Pay, and that came from a problem. Which I had. Then my mum hears me talking about it. Now my mum wants one at Punanganui Market. She's like, can I have that? I'm like, well, yeah, it's a sticker and they scan and pay. And she goes, where's the money go? I go, well, to my business account, and then I can just like give you the money from. She goes, okay. So my mum now has a sticker for Scan and Pay at Punanganui Market.
Nice.
Then another cousin saw it at Punanganui Market. And so she's got a sticker now.
There you go.
Because these people are small people, Ian. They don't qualify for a credit card machine.
True.
They don't qualify for a credit card machine. They don't have limited liability companies, so they can't get a credit card machine. And because they're at Punanganui Market, there's no power.
True.
Well, there's power,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
you've got to like run it
Yeah.
unless you've got your own hut with your $7,000 power in it.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't have your own hut and you're sitting at the front with the fruit and vegetables, so if you go on trade at Punanganui Market, the battery in the battery in the machine, calling you out, BSB, but I've already told you this. The battery life is only about 3 hours.
Right.
So if you get there at 6 a.m., it's done by 9.
Yeah.
So then you're running to the office to take the machine to plug it, right? As I have done, Ian.
Yeah.
As I
Speaking
have
from
done.
experience. Yeah.
And I've run the tourist across with me with the machine, plugged it in at the office.
Yeah.
And so then I bring scan and pay in for me down at Punanganui Market for my mum, my cousin with Aotearoa, Vaiana, George, and also now on a Saturday with me, my daughter and I, Athena, for our art. Which means I have not taken this to the market in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And it's just, and they get it.
Yeah.
The tourist gets it.
Yeah.
Because when you show them the sticker and it's scan and pay, they just get their phone out.
Yeah.
They know what to do. Because Hayden said they'll know what to do with it.
Yeah.
And then they just go, Apple Pay, thanks a lot. And then they're like, oh, that was easy.
Yeah.
Well, that was easy, all right.
Yeah. I think you touched on like another cool point about technology is that, one, it solves a problem, but then the other thing is it scales. So like you were able to solve that problem for yourself, but then instantly it can be used to help everyone else the same way. So you have that scaling factor.
Because if I've got a problem, that's what I was saying to Hayden. If I've got this problem, others have this problem.
Yeah.
And then I was reading like on, the Rarotonga community and beyond and all of the Facebook pages. And then tourists want to donate to our charities.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, I want to just donate like $20 to the I don't know, the VET or the SPS. I'm just choosing one, SPCA. But then I figured out that if I use the bank thing and I got to pay the SWIFT, which is $28 in, and then I want to pay the $15 to receive it for them because I don't want them to get the $15 receiving fee out of the SWIFT code. I just want to send $20. Now that $20 is going to cost me 20 plus 28 to send it plus 15 to receive. So my goodness, my feeling good of sending $20 is now going to cost me 48 plus the 15, $63. And I have to fill in a whole bank international payee thing, right? And I have to make sure I get the SWIFT code correct for the right bank in the middle of nowhere. And I'm like, reading this online. That's where scan and pay for donate came about. So now on the website, so then I went and asked the first charity and said, this is what I'm aiming to do. This is what I'm da-da-da-da-da. And it was a little bit like, this is technical, Chantal, but we trust you. Then I went to the next charity. So now we've had 2 up there, Ian, in the donate section. So now you can just go straight on my website. And if you want to donate $20, that's all it costs you.
And $20 goes straight to the
and
charity.
Then no, so what we put on there was I said to them, we've got to pay for the bank fees, because there's going to be bank fees, but
card fees,
but it's still less than the 28 in and the $15 to receive, and it's instantaneous, and they don't have to fill out an international payee form with a SWIFT code. And they're like, well, we're happy to give this a go because, we're happy to give this a go, right?
Cool.
And that came about too because I want to help the NGOs and I want to help the charities and I want to help make it easier for them to receive money. I mean, how many times have you seen? This is the SWIFT code. This is this.
Pain in the ass. No, it's cool because you understand what I'm talking about because you're in that digital space. But I think for those that aren't familiar with it, I think what I would like them to know is that it's a massive opportunity for us in the Cook Islands and in Pacific nations in general, because we are so isolated from the rest of the world geographically. I truly believe that if we can start to go more into that digital space, the digital workplace, then our young people won't have to leave the islands. They won't have to leave the Pāinua. It's our hope that with the training that we're doing, a lot of the kids can stay in Mauke, in the Pāinua, and work for companies overseas. All they need is a computer and an internet connection, and then they're plugged into the rest of the world work-wise, without having to leave their families in their village. So I think it's massive potential, and it doesn't take long to learn. It's only those that are doing it. Myself and Mi'i through Tai Collective and the work we're doing, we can train kids up to do skills within a few hours, and then from there we can continue mentoring them. And so I think we're at the point now where we're just looking for kids that are passionate to just mentor them into career in the IT space. So that's what's sort of driving us.
Well, I know 2 kids who will join up to the next one.
Yeah, cool.
Mine.
Yes, bring them along.
Mine.
Be awesome.
Yeah. And I'm so glad, because I didn't know that this was available. And now I do. And now others do.
Cool.
Only because, like, how if you don't have a TV, you miss that ad. If you don't have a radio, because I use my phone in that, so I don't have a radio like old school, so I don't listen to. I'm just saying I would have missed that ad. And then if I'm not following that, I don't see it. So
it's cool. It's cool that the work's getting out there. I think we've just been a bit low key up until now, just because we're still finishing off our e-learning platform. It's called Galaxy Maps. It's being built.
So do they just dial into you?
Yeah. They
and can they
galaxymaps.io is our web app that I've been working on for about 3 or 4 years now.
Okay.
And it's only just sort of ready for prime time. So even now we're still testing it. It's in a sort of alpha stage. And so we got I'm working on that, and I think by next year we should be fully launched, but we're still getting kids to use it now so we can get some testing done.
Hey Ian, I know what Galaxy Maps is, only because this morning I read a bit about the voyaging bit of it and the stars. So please explain to everybody who doesn't.
Okay, sweet. So Galaxy Maps is another one of our projects that we're working on. It all came from when I was teaching in New Zealand, love teaching, but it doesn't scale, right? You've only got a classroom of 20 students and they're benefiting from it. But, what about the other kids? It's not.
They can't make it to the classroom. Or can't afford to, or don't have a computer, or parent doesn't know about it to bring them. Cool.
So that was one of the problems we wanted to tackle. And then the other one was just the teacher's job in general is getting harder and harder. So I've been teaching for 10 years in New Zealand high schools, and it was just becoming a real grind. It's a hard job. The teacher, well, for myself, I just really wanted to focus on the teaching, but the school system makes it quite difficult. You sort of majority of the kids don't want to be there to learn. So that makes it hard to teach, and then that makes it hard for the kids that do want to learn. So it's just a sort of environment thing in the school.
My children have been saying that. My daughter in high school, Ian, she's been saying that. You just said.
No, it's real. It's a real thing, and I think school hasn't evolved. It hasn't innovated, and so I think I've really felt like I'm gonna give this thing a go, and so that's what Galaxy Maps is. It's the solution to the problem of what schools are facing at the moment. And so we called it Galaxy Maps because it's themed around the stars and the constellations. So any sort of learning course that you do, it's sort of step 1, do this, step 2, do this, step 3, do this. And so you have these learning steps, and then when you connect them with a learning path, and then you zoom out, it kind of looks like a star constellation. And so my web development course is, this constellation over here. Miti Taukia's 3D modeling is this constellation over here. You could go on to Galaxy Maps yourself and start creating your galaxy map. And so, yeah, the idea is that we hope one day there's all these maps of learning that people have put on there for anyone to go and learn. And then so it's sort of that metaphor, like our tupuna that use the stars to navigate the seas. We hope that people can use these galaxy maps to navigate their learning. So yeah, the kura that I used to work at, we were really big on individualized learning. You know, we sort of recognized that kids shouldn't be learning the same thing all at the exact same time. It doesn't really make much sense, but
no, I understand, because some of them are at different levels.
Yeah,
you know, just and children, like people, not just children, people receive information differently. Some people receive it in color. Some people receive it in audio. Some people might hear the audio first, then the color, or see the color first, then the audio. They just receive things differently. That's all. And then they and then I believe they process it differently too. I'm like that. Like Hayden might have to tell me 5 times something, right? And I'm like, no, I am like that. It's like when he brought me this. And he brought it down for me in October last year. And I just kept going back. I said to him, can I just keep doing the show the same way I've been doing it for 2 years, using the iPhone and dialing it into you? And he goes, put it down, Chantal. Open this up. And then he was like, okay, so just push Command C, and then push Option this, and then and I'm like, okay. I've never had a Mac, so I don't even know what Command C, V, Option. And Hayden goes, wow, okay. I said, you need to take it back for me. I go, and if that's me, Hayden, there's a lot of people in the Cook Islands.
But see, your strengths might not be in IT domain, but you might have strengths in other domains, you know. So we Galaxy Maps at the moment only has IT stuff because it's mainly us that are building it, but we hope that it has different domains mapped out. So it might be English, might be the arts, might be drama, might be, who knows what it'll be. It could be anything. It could be culture stuff. But it's just that's the
where were
trend
you,
anyway.
Ian, when you first conceived this? Where were you?
I was actually in Silicon Valley in San Francisco. I was at this Flash coding school. My good friend Rich Bodo, he paid for me to come over and had a look at it. He's like, Ian, you got to see this school. It was this massive, well, I don't know, 3-4 story building and 2 levels of just Mac computers. They're training, it's a software developers course, and the graduates from there, they get into Samsung, Google, like these big companies. Like the company comes to so the school is called 42. It's in Silicon Valley in Fremont, and they basically go there to get these guys. But what was interesting and why he thought I should come and check it out was it's really high pressure coding school, but there's 0 teachers. There's no teachers in the building. The kids or the students, they just come, and it's free. Anyone, there's no tuition fee or nothing. So people fly from all over the world to go to school 42, and they sit on this computer, and every day they're given like 5 to 20 computer programming challenges. And at the bottom it says, if you don't know how to do this, ask the person to your left, ask the person to your right, or it's called Google, man. Like that's what I said. So that's how you learn. And so it was a really interesting experience. They had like really awesome software that they'd developed themselves that sort of facilitated the whole learning pathway, which even included this sort of mapping thing. So it was sort of, the course was mapped out. And then that for me was like, man, this is really cool. People didn't even use the map view because they had like a list view. But seeing that, I just sort of was inspired to think of it as the stars and like, these star constellations. And then I was thinking like, man, how cool would it be if you had a course and you could shape it like Maui's hook, like these constellations, and
Yes.
and then the whole sort of concept and narrative really made it feel right. And so right then and there, while I was doing that, I started building it, started coding it, and yeah, from there, that's where the idea came from. Yeah. So yeah, 42, it's amazing. There's one in Paris. The US one got closed when COVID came, but it's a really good experience.
Do you know if it's reopened, the one in the US? Do you know?
No, I don't think it did, eh? I don't think it did. Yeah. But
the one in Fremont, the one we're just talking about, eh?
Silicon Valley, yeah. But the original
Wow.
one's in Paris. And
No teachers. That's cool.
no
Wow.
teachers, yeah. It's really impressive. But
Yeah.
they have support people there,
Yeah.
just to like make sure you're okay, because it is really high pressure. Like a lot of people, they go there and it gets really hard, and then they're crying, and it's pretty intense. But I loved it. I thought it was such a cool experience.
And how long were you there for?
The course to get into the school is a 1 month course. So I was there for it was a school trip, because they said, "Oh, come and have a look, get some ideas for your school," because I was on the leadership team in New Zealand. And the people at the 42, they said, "Look, we have people come all the time, but the best way to experience it is just to actually do it." And then so I was stoked. My 2-week trip turned into like a 4-week trip. So I got to stay, get immersed in it, and do the entry course. And yeah, it was a really cool experience. Yeah, 42 code school. Yeah. No, it was awesome.
What's it?
But I will just say it was interesting, because I thought, and this relates back to us and the cooks in Aotearoa, I thought I was going over there as like, man, this is great. I'm going to open up all these pathways for our students. Like, this is the mecca of technology. It's where Facebook is, Google is. Like, we're going to get these kids into these companies and get them top jobs. But it was actually an eye-opener for me going to these places and seeing, like, there's really rich people, and then there's also the poverty side as well. Like, you have at the Google campus, you just got the roads, and Google campus are just like all RV trucks all along the roadways, and that's just where their cleaners and stuff live. Like, they're living in RVs because they can't afford rents. So there's just this crazy contrast of, like, really rich and really poor. And it's like right next to each other. It's not like the rich are here and the poor are here. It's like they're all together. And it was just crazy, eh? Like, it sort of made me see, like, it felt like this big rat race, like we complain about the rat race and stuff, but over there it's like dog eat dog sort of thing. And just sort of made me appreciate our countries, like what we have. And I was like, my sort of mentality had totally switched. I was like, man, we're so lucky to have the life that we have, and be from where we're from. And I think we should be staying there and working there. It's not about, let's try and get to the States and work in these big companies. The mindset shifted to, like, man, we got it so good. Like, we should just be encouraging our kids to stay here and work here. So yeah, I thought that was probably the biggest surprise for me, because prior to going, I was like, yep, let's get these doors open for our kids to come in here. But I went back saying, nah, man, it's overrated. It's a beautiful place with beautiful people. A lot of smart people working on awesome things. But our own backyard is, we've got, we're so blessed. We got more than we realize, I think, that we take for granted. I truly believe. Yeah. So yeah, it was interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
That is, like, where were you? And that was about 3-4 years ago, you were saying, eh?
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago. But it was literally the heart of, like, IT stuff, and sort of inspired it. So it's been cool.
And who's been mentoring you along this in the last 3-4 years?
I don't have a strong mentor figure. I've got a lot of friends that I can rely on.
Who's coaching you? Anyone coaching you?
I've probably my mate Rich Bodo, that brought me over to California. He's involved with Galaxy Maps. He sort of believes in it, and he's helped invest and been able to sort of pay me to work on it. So he's awesome to rely on. I've got another good friend, Stefan, in New Zealand. We're good mates. He's a senior developer for another education thing. So whenever I break something, or I'm like trying to solve the same coding thing for 2 days, he'll fix it in like 15 minutes. So yeah, I definitely rely on those guys. But other than that, it's just sort of been just sort of I think just like walking in my faith as well. I'm pretty strong
Right.
Christian, and so like I think when I wasn't really walking with the Lord, I think I tried to be the man and like think I was on top of everything and all this. But I think the more I sort of realized that, it's easier if you just sort of, give it up to higher power, like, and I think everything gets easier, and then it's just sort of you end up in this sort of flow state that things just unfold more organically and naturally rather than like trying to grind and do it all on your own steam. So yeah, I can't really take too much credit for it. I'd sort of give all the credit back to God at the end of the day, because when I do sort of hand it over to him, doors just open and things get easy, and it just sort of it's probably a lot of that. Yeah.
Nice. One day at a time stuff, eh?
Yeah. One day at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah. He knows what we need when we need it, and packs our days with as much as we can handle. And yeah.
Was it your dad's idea to go to Moki and live, or was it both of your idea?
I think it was definitely my idea. But he's the best. He's just so supportive. He's like, yes, son, let's go. Like he was 100% like behind it. So yeah, Dad's been awesome. I definitely couldn't have done it without him. He's just always got my back, and he knew that I wanted to go. He knew it was going to happen, but when COVID came, and then we were just thinking, yeah, let's go now. And he's like, yeah, let's go. And so we just committed and went for it. Yeah. Yeah.
And you've been there how long now in Moki?
Just 1 year. Yeah, we arrived August last year. So yeah, just over a year. Yeah.
Do you mind, please, for our listeners, chatting about Moki, please?
Yeah, cool.
Where it is from Rarotonga.
Yeah. So Moki is one of the 15 Cook Islands. It's the one that's sort of furthest to the east. It's in the southern group. It's a 1 hour plane ride. It's a 26-hour waka ride. Yeah, I think it was 150 nautical miles, something like that. But yeah, it's a small island. I think it's the population's around 270, something like that. So yeah, really small population, but really tight community. I love it. I think you drive down the street, and if you pass someone, you just wave to them. If you see someone, just wave to them. Just makes your day. But yeah, Moki is a beautiful place. It's still pretty raw, pretty untouched. It still feels like how it would have been when our sort of older people were there. You sort of get the sense of history when you're there, when you're walking around. You see these mango trees that are hundreds of years old, and it would have been the same mango tree that my grandparents would have played on when they were kids. So you still feel that over there, and that community, and like the families, they know who you are. They know, because they know where you come from. They know everyone before you, and a lot of them, they all know that about each other on the family. We're all related, and we all look after each other, and it's just a really cool, fulfilling lifestyle. I think, like I tell people in New Zealand, I didn't even know my next door neighbors that well. I knew that one, but I didn't know the ones on the other side. So it's just crazy to think that. Whereas in Moki, we all know each other. We all help each other. People drop food off to you for no reason, just because. And so yeah, it's a beautiful place, and we're loving living there. And I think you were talking about Project Sunrise. That's sort of our project where we are wanting to sort of create that physical space. So I think Galaxy Maps and Tai Collective is that digital space, but then you also need that physical community space. And so we're sort of thinking about what can that look like, and our family sort of on board to committed their interest in a land block. And so we're going in together as a family on that, sort of committed to this vision of, what can we do with this space that sort of, can benefit our family and our people, our island, and, possibly the wider Cook Islands and beyond. So it's exciting. It's a cool project. And yeah.
So you're thinking about possibly creating like a school, you mean?
Yeah. I think the school is probably one of the first things we'll do, because it's sort of the space that we're already in. So we're looking at building a 2-story building. the sort of ground level will be the workshop sort of lab area, and then upstairs will be like
and then parents like me could come over with our child.
Yep.
And like stay for the duration of the course.
Yeah.
You know, if the child's in the course for 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, we want to
And
have
then
like a hall.
do it, and they don't have to go to America and do it. Exactly what you were saying. We don't have to. We can just do it here at home.
We can.
Yeah, man. Sign me up with my kids.
Yeah. That's the dream.
Yeah.
That's what we're working on, and it feels like we're getting there slowly but surely.
No, thank you, Ian, because you know one of the things that you start thinking about when your children become teenagers, like I am, right, 14 and 12.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, I got to start thinking about uni.
Yeah.
Not for me. I missed that. Right, everyone. I'm like, okay, I got to start thinking about uni, you know, and what does that look like? And is that New Zealand or is that Australia? You know, who do they stay with when they go? Do they board? How much is it going to cost me if they board? How much is it going to cost me if they're a day student and then they go and live with their auntie or their uncle? But listening to you before, talking about how they don't have to leave home and they can do courses here and then realize that they can earn money with an internet connection and a laptop anywhere.
I think university is sort of part of that system as well that hasn't really evolved much or innovated that much, like especially when it comes to the technology digital space. You know, it's evolving so fast that how can a university degree possibly keep up? We don't have the answer by no means, but we're definitely in that space of trying to think about, what can it look like? So maybe in the near future, your kids might not have to go to a university. Maybe they can get a university level education right from home. Leveraging internet and things like that.
True. Yeah.
And I think it's someone way smarter than me said, I think it might have been Robert Hollis or something. You were saying, I wouldn't go to university. If anything, my advice to young people would be to find a mentor that's doing what you want to do.
Yeah.
And you train under them because they're bringing this world of experience that you learn like in the real world.
That's what I would say.
That's
what I would say to people.
Yeah.
Like they're like, so how did JT start coaching you, Chantel? I asked. I said, I looked at the list and I knew that person had so much intel from 60 years of the industry, and I asked.
Yeah.
And I was appreciative. He said yes.
Yeah.
And then and then you ask, like, this person's got this skill set, so you're like, can I please have an hour a month of your time or 2 hours a month of your time? This person's got this, can I please have an hour or 2 of your time? This person's got that one, so then you actually end up with 8 hours because you're getting 8 brains and 8 experiences and 8,
So you're onto it.
that's what I've been doing.
8 mentors.
And then like if I hit a snag, I ring up say Mark, and I'm like, I know I could go on the internet and I know I could Google it and I know I could like go on the website and read about it, but I know that and I know that you care and you don't want to see me fail in this project I'm doing. So then I ask and then you get an answer.
It's cool.
It's like gold. Gold. And so I got about 5 of those. Like so many brains plus Google. So I got the whole world's brains.
It's awesome.
Man. Thank you, Ian. We shall record again.
Cool. Whenever.
I'm really looking forward to how everything's going. I'm so curious now to come to Moke, but I would like to tee it up for a course that I can do pay or something, or I'll find out about the courses, because I know that my 12-year-old and my 14-year-old would be really into it. So yeah.
That's sweet. We'll
Cool.
be the first to know when we're ready.
Yeah. Thank you.
Cool.
All right. Anything you'd like to say to the audience before we finish up for today?
No, not really. Yeah, I think we're good. If you want to reach out, if you want to learn more, or if you want to help with this pretty big task, then by all means get in touch. You would love to hear from you, even if it's just your young people wanting to get into digital technology. It's what we're doing, so get in touch.
Maybe I should put up your project in my donate section on Marapass. All right. Noko ni ia mato aroa iatu kia koto poro katotoa. I'm breathing because I really missed you all. Okay. So from this little concrete bunker in Tikioki, the show is coming out to you all. Noko ni ia mato aroa iatu kia koto katotoa. Kia orana, may you live long. Airera, farewell. Kia manuia. Good luck and good health. See ya.